So, you hear anything to change your mind?
Well, we had a good conversation. My message, of course, to the Prime Minister is that people can't afford to pay any more, that they're tapped out, their grocery bills, their rent is too high after 10 years of excess spending. So I shared my view that we need the government to bring down its inflationary deficits and taxes.
Welcome back to the channel. Today we're breaking down Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre's reaction to the federal budget. In this video, we'll explore his key points and what they could mean for everyday Canadians. From government spending to housing affordability, we'll cover everything in detail so you get a clear picture of the issues at hand.
I was grateful for the chance to sit down with the Prime Minister. We had a good conversation. He didn't make any commitments, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what he comes up with.
Poilievre started by focusing on government spending and fiscal responsibility. He expressed concern about the growing national debt and warned that without careful planning, future generations could face significant financial challenges. He emphasized that while some programs are necessary, the government needs to prioritize spending on essential services like healthcare and education, rather than increasing unnecessary expenses.
You said you hoped he was in listening mode. Did you feel that was the case?
I think we both were. We had a good back and forth, and we shared our respective views. I'm not going to report to you anything that he said because that was in the four walls of the room. I can only speak for myself, and I reiterated that we need this to be an affordable budget. We've seen over the last 10 years of Liberal deficit spending is driven up the cost of living and driven down investment in our country.
Taxes and cost of living were another major point. Poilievre highlighted how the budget might affect Canadian families, especially those already struggling with high living costs. He discussed potential impacts on income taxes, savings, and daily expenses, pointing out that Canadians need a plan that eases financial pressure rather than adding more burdens.
So my message is it's time to reverse course on the costly decade of deficit spending that has given us more expensive food and housing. The Canadian people deserve a break. The cost of government is driving up the cost of living, and so if the Prime Minister is serious about making Canada a more affordable country, then he needs to bring forward an affordable budget.
Housing affordability is a pressing concern. Poilievre mentioned that despite some government initiatives, many Canadians continue to struggle with rising rents and mortgage costs. He suggested that more practical policies are needed to make homeownership and rental housing accessible, particularly for young people and middle-income families who are most affected.
Do you get the sense this is a budget that you can support?
Sorry, go ahead.
We can take both.
Okay, you go first.
Do you get the sense that this is a budget you could support?
I haven't seen anything, but I've sort of laid out my conditions for the party, and we'll see what he comes up with.
I mean, history, though, is that opposition parties, official opposition parties, do not support the budget. I mean, you just don't. It's not part of your job. So, do you know what I mean? Do you see a world in which this is?
Jobs and employment were also discussed. Poilievre emphasized the importance of supporting small businesses and creating opportunities for youth employment. He pointed out that the budget needs to encourage economic growth and job creation, rather than imposing measures that could slow down hiring or make it harder for businesses to thrive.
It's possible for
The
you?
world would be it's an affordable budget that gets rid of taxes, excess taxes on investment, home building, work, energy, that brings the deficit down to the level that the Liberals promised only a year ago. Pretty reasonable to go back to the deficit they were running only a year ago. These are the things that he would have to do for us to consider it. At the end of the day, our number one priority is people's take-home pay has to grow, and that comes through more affordable food and homes. The current Liberal policy is driving up the cost of living. If they sharply reverse that, then they can bring down the cost of living.
Inflation remains a major concern for Canadians. Poilievre criticized the budget's approach, highlighting the strain rising prices are putting on households. He stressed the need for policies that protect purchasing power and ensure Canadians can afford essentials like food, gas, and housing without constantly worrying about healthcare, education, and infrastructure were also addressed. Poilievre called for more transparency and accountability in government spending. He argued that taxpayers have a right to know where their money is going, and that the government should focus on delivering tangible results that directly improve Canadians' lives.
He took office. In a lot of ways, he's spending faster and more than the Liberal government was when he became Prime Minister. Spending on the bureaucracy is up 6%. On consultants, it's up 37%. It seems like he's got a new agency for every problem in Canada. It's going to be an alphabet soup of different acronyms around the city. And so my sense is that his spending, Mr. Carney's spending, with great respect, is totally out of control. And Canadians are paying the price for his out-of-control spending.
What do you say?
Looking ahead, Poilievre emphasized the need to prepare for future economic challenges. He stressed balancing growth with responsible spending, ensuring that Canada remains strong and resilient even in uncertain times. His message encourages citizens to stay informed and involved in political discussions, so they understand how policies affect their daily lives.
Fair-minded and just holding him to the promises that he made. You know, it was a year ago the Liberals promised this year's deficit would only be $42 billion. So I don't think it's that unreasonable to expect that they would keep that cap. He said he would be judged by the prices at the grocery store. Well, those prices are rising at 4% now, twice the Bank of Canada's target rate. My goal is to bring that food price inflation down. He said that he would make he would create jobs. So we're putting forward policies that would actually do that. So I think we've been very reasonable in basically insisting that the Prime Minister live up to the very big promises that he made of himself. And for me, the biggest and most important promise of it all is that people can actually start to afford their lives again.
Overall, Poilievre's post-budget commentary provides insight into the Conservative perspective on economic management, taxation, and public services. By understanding these points, Canadians can better evaluate how government decisions may impact their finances and communities. Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned for more updates and analysis.